Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining in this program, CAF Informs. Every Thursday, we come to you bringing you resources, information that you must know in order to be updated in what is happening in your community. This program is hosted by Center for Assistance to Family, CAF. We are a nonprofit organization which mission is to support you, to empower you, and also to transform community through the work that we do with partners like the ones that we're gonna have today. Um, we wanna make sure that you share this information. If you haven't done so, please do that, because today we're gonna talk about the process of the voter registration, how you go about doing that. If you have questions, you're gonna have the opportunity to put it on the chat, but also you're gonna be well informed because we got an expert today. We have Dr. Gilberto Zelaya, who is not only representing the state, but also the county, the Montgomery County, and he is aware of the most updated information that you need to know in order to get yourself counted through this election. Thank you, Dr. Zelaya, for joining us in this program. I know you were here last Tuesday informing the Hispanic speaking community, and today I want to make sure that our English speaking community can hear all this great information that you have to share about the election process.
Perfect. Thank you so much for providing a venue to inform the English speaking, the non-Spanish speaking community about the procedures set forth for November 3rd, which is the general presidential election date. The first thing, obviously, there's been a lot of changes from the primary to the general elections, and we'll touch upon that. One of the quickest change is, in order for you to participate in the process, you will need to be registered to vote. And in order to do so, to be registered to vote, you must be a registered voter in Maryland. And so the requirements are: one, you have to be at least 16 years of age to register to vote, even though you have to be 18 by or before November 3rd, which is the actual general election date. Two, you have to be a U.S. citizen. That means born in the U.S. or naturalized through those procedures. And thirdly, you have to live in Maryland. Obviously, that's the three requirements to be a registered voter in Maryland. We have a multitude of ways for you to register, so you have no excuses not to. The first one is you could text the word VOTE, V-O-T-E, to 77788. VOTE to 77788, and the system will send you back a text message with the actual Maryland voter registration link. You need to have a Maryland ID, permit, or a driver's license to do so. If you don't have those three forms of state ID, don't worry. You could also visit us in Montgomery County, our website, which is 777vote.org, 777vote.org. And you could download from our website the English or Spanish or Chinese or Korean version of the Maryland voter registration application, because the form is the Maryland, is not the Montgomery County voter registration application. The other option is you could call our office at 240-777-8500, 240-777-8500, and we could coordinate to mail you an application in case you don't have a printer. Also, if you live in a different county, you could contact the state, and their phone number is 800-222-8683, 800-222-8683. So you have a multitude of ways that you could register to vote. And if you don't have a driver's license, permit, or ID, the paper version, you will need to provide only the last 4 digits of your Social Security number, only the last 4 digits, and then we will coordinate with the Social Security Administration to verify your information so you could be registered. In about 2 weeks, give and take, we'll send you a notification in the mail that you are registered. And so it's important that if you have moved since the 2018 election, married, divorced, whatever life changes, we don't need to know the details, but you need to contact the Board of Elections to update your voter registration record. Another prompt that you could see your voter registration, once again using your cell phone, text the word check, C-H-E-C-K, check, to 77788. and then you could provide your voter information. It'll show you what the system, the Maryland State Board of Election, has in their database. And if you need to update that information, you could do so there on the that particular prompt, or you could once again download an application and mail it to us if you don't have an ID permit or a driver's license from Maryland. Keep in mind the voter registration deadline is Tuesday, October 13th. So you need to do that beforehand or on that day. If you download the application, make sure it has the postmark from the post office on the 13th, because if you mail it in on the 14th, or you put it in a mailbox on the 13th in your neighborhood and the post office picks it up on the 14th, it's going to be late. And then the last opportunity for you to register to vote, let's say you've been living under a rock and you just realized that you want to register, or you moved into Maryland after the deadline, you could register to vote during early voting, which is October 26th through November 2nd, or on election day at the vote center, Tuesday, November 3rd. And we'll talk about more of those details as we go on through the show. But you have a multitude of options, but you have no excuses. You could do it on your phone. You could do it on the website. You could download the application, or you could call the Montgomery County Board of Elections or the state, and they'll mail you an application. So you have, and then the last one is same day voter registration on election day or during early voting. So you have no excuse.
So what are the dates for the early voting? What are the early voting dates? Put
Yes,
it that way.
great question. So the early voting dates are going to be from October 26th through November 2nd, which is a Monday. So it's essentially Monday to Monday. You can vote early. Every county has a distinct number of vote centers, early voting centers. So Maryland, Montgomery County, I apologize, Montgomery County has 11 early voting centers. Prince George's, Baltimore, Allegheny County, every county has a different number of early voting centers, which corresponds to how many registered voters each county has. By law, you will receive what is called a sample ballot. And then your sample ballot will have all of the information of all of the early voting locations, the dates. The centers are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And depending where you live, you're not tied to the closest early voting center. So if there's an early voting center close to your home, but you're visiting family, you're at work at a different location in your county, or you're coming back home from work and you're closer to a different early voting center, you could vote there as well. You're not tied to the one nearest to your home address. So from October 26th through October 2nd, you'll have the early voting centers from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. But if you, because of COVID-19 and you're a little bit worried about what's going on, you could request to vote by mail. And that's really easy. You could send the text, these 3 letters, VBM, which stands for vote by mail, VBM, just the 3 letters, to 77788, no spaces. Don't worry if it's capitalized or lowercase. The letters VBM to 77788, and the system will send you the link for you to register to receive a vote by mail ballot. You could call the Board of Elections, the Montgomery County Board of Elections, at 240-777-8500, or the Maryland State Board of Elections, which is 1-800-222-8683. And they could also help you get access to the application or to submit your application to vote by mail if you do not want to vote in person during early voting or on election day. Keep in mind that this week, the Maryland State Board of Elections will be mailing every single registered voter an application, not a ballot. For the primary election, Hogan through his proclamation, instructed the State Board of Elections to mail every single registered voter a ballot. For the general election, this is a huge difference, this is a huge change. You have to actively request to receive a ballot, and the state will mail you this week the vote by mail request application, which you need to send. But why wait? You can use your phone, text the 3 letters VBM to 77788. And the deadline, very important, the deadline is Tuesday, October 20th. Tuesday, October 20th. But that request needs to be made by then, not necessarily postmarked. You need to make a request today. Please don't wait, don't procrastinate. sign up to receive your vote by mail, your mail-in ballot application, so we can mail your ballot to your home address.
That is amazing information, and it cannot be easier than that. It's been, I appreciate all this work that you guys been doing in order to make sure that everybody get involved, and there is not obstacles or challenges that people face as we go through this such an important process.
Mhm.
So again, you all heard about great, very important dates that we all need to meet. I think the opportunity to do it over the phone, this is just amazing, to do it by mail, to request this information by phone, and also to be able to do this by mail, and also to do it early. It's just a great opportunity. And I appreciate all the effort that is not only being done at the state, but also as a national level, to ensure that everybody get involved. There was a website that you mentioned, I believe it's 777vote.org. Is that
Yes,
correct?
so the website for the Montgomery County Board of Elections is 777vote.org. Also, the website for the Maryland State Board of Elections is elections.maryland.gov. Elections.maryland.gov. Especially if you don't live in Montgomery County, you want information specific. The State Board of Election has all of the links and all the websites and contact information for every single local Board of Elections in Baltimore City. So elections.maryland.gov. Their phone number is 1-800-222-8683. The Montgomery County Board of Elections number is 240-777-8500. And our website is 777vote.org. And the one thing also I want to also inform is, in addition to voting by mail or early voting, which is the 26th of October through the 2nd of November, you also have Election Day, which is Tuesday, November 3rd, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if you're not voting by mail, which we highly encourage, it's one of the safest way of voting. It's secure. But if you vote in person, you have early voting. And if you forget to vote during early voting, the last opportunity is Election Day, Tuesday, November 3rd. And one of the biggest difference between the primary and the general and past elections like 2018 and 16 and so forth is that you are not tied to your specific or closest vote center. Hogan's made a proclamation that said that the local boards of elections were to use the local high schools as vote centers. So I live in a particular part of Montgomery County, and my precinct or voting location was a middle school. But because of COVID-19, Hogan proclaimed that the local boards of elections to use their local high schools. So I could go to my local high school, but the difference is I could go to another high school in Montgomery County. So if you live in Prince George's County, you're not only tied or allowed to vote in your neighborhood high school. You could go to any high school in your county to vote. So you live in Baltimore County, find out where those particular locations are at. Montgomery County has 25 high schools, but then also your early voting centers from the 26th of October through the 2nd of November, they're going to be converted to vote centers, and you could go to those locations as well. So every county is different. You're going to be, the local boards of elections legally obligated to mail you a sample ballot. And that sample ballot will have all of the early voting locations, the addresses, and also all of the vote center locations and the addresses. And the last point is, at every single early voting center and vote center, your corresponding local board of elections will have ballot drop boxes. These big bins, boxes where you could deposit your ballot if you're voting by mail, because there's been a lot of concerns regarding the United States Postal Service. And so once you get your ballot in the mail, you don't necessarily need to use the post office to return it. Just put it in one of the multitude of ballot drop boxes in your corresponding county, and the local board of elections are going to empty out those bins twice a day, including Sunday. So if you have any concerns, just use the ballot drop boxes, and they will be listed also on your sample ballot or go on our website or on the State of Maryland website to find out those locations.
Wow, that is amazing. I really want to thank you. I want to thank Governor Hogan also for making, you know, all these great proclamations that is going to make it much comfortable and easier for many of us. And finally, I want to, you know, make sure that if you guys didn't know or how to go about getting this information, you heard the state information and you also heard the county level information through Montgomery County. And I know we got people from all over the state that are listening, so make sure that we're gonna say those numbers once more, and with that we're gonna end. But I want to make sure that it's clear for everyone that you have these resources, because this is what this program is about. It's about informing you and empowering you with these resources. Dr. Zelaya, if you can say once more, the state number and the state website, and then we'll do the county website and the county phone number.
Yeah. So the phone number for the Maryland State Board of Election is 1-800-222-8683, 1-800-222-8683, and their corresponding website is elections.maryland.gov. That's elections.maryland.gov for the Maryland State Board of Elections. And for the Montgomery County Board of Elections, it's 777vote.org. 777vote.org is our website, and our phone number is 240-777-8500, 240-777-8500. So remember, you have a lot of options to register to vote. The deadline is October 13th. You could text the letters VOTE to 77788. If you want to review or update your voter registration record, or maybe even see the status of your vote by mail request, because it's taken several weeks for us to process, you could text the word CHECK, C-H-E-C-K, to 77788. Or if you want to request to vote by mail, even though you should have received the application by the state this coming week, you could text the 3 letters VBM to 77788. And the deadline to request that must be at the Board of Elections on October 20th. Has to be at the office at October 20th. And if you do not desire to vote by mail because maybe you have vision problems, what you could do is you could go and vote at the early voting locations, and that's going to be from October 26th through November 2nd from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And you're not obligated to go to your closest or your neighborhood early voting location. You could vote at any of those locations in your county. And if for whatever reason you've been living under a rock and you didn't know there was an election and you forgot to vote early because you're just too busy, you have Election Day, which is Tuesday, November 3rd, from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if you missed the voter registration deadline, you could register to vote and vote that same day during early voting and on Election Day. And lastly, at each of those locations, during early voting and on Election Day, we will have installed ballot drop boxes where you could deposit your voted ballot into that bin, and our staff will pick up twice a day, including Sunday, so you don't have to use the postal service if you have any concerns about your ballot getting back to the Montgomery County or your corresponding Board of Elections.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Dr. Zelaya. Thank you for this opportunity that you gave us to share this great information to the audience. So please, if you haven't shared this program, make sure that you do that right now. And I'm sure that if you have questions, you get those numbers. You can always visit our website, www.mycaf.org, or you can call our number 301-382-8255. 328-3292. We'll be happy to connect you with Dr. Zelaya. We'll be happy to connect you with all these resources that you heard. You can just go straight to the website that were provided. But at the end of the day, what we want to make sure is that if you are eligible to vote, that you do so. Thank you again, Dr. Zelaya. It was a great pleasure having you with us.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity to reach a lot more voters. And we're here to serve. Be patient with us. Make sure you have a vote plan, and you have no excuses. The rest is up to you.
Definitely. Thank you. It will be until next time when we're going to connect with you, and we're going to bring you more information about, things you need to know in your community. So make sure that you share it. Again, go to our YouTube channel. If you haven't done that, subscribe, or just make sure that you like our page and you continue to connect with us every Thursday through this CAF Informs in English. So thank you again. It will be until next time. Bye-bye.